Hey everyone, it's John and we've got Megan and we're up here at the Antique Mall and we're going to take some stuff in. We're going to show you our new booth and I'm going to show you what we've done so far. We have actually did really well. We have sold over $1,000 by the 11th up here at Red's Flea Market. So stay tuned. We're going to show you what we do in our antique booth and maybe give you some tips on how you can open up an antique booth and possibly make some money yourself. So let's get to it.
Catch me howling at the moon.
Okay guys, this is the booth and we have brought a lot of the stuff out from the store. We do quite a bit. I mean, we've sold quite a bit of stuff out of here. There's a lot of holes that you can see, holes over there. There's a couple holes there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of this stuff that we have right here and we're going to try to stick most of it in here, and what doesn't fit in there we're actually going to take and stick in this booth, because this is another booth that we have. And we've had this one here. We've had a booth in this place for, I would say, probably at least 10 years or more than that. Yeah, we've had a booth here for at least 10 years. And we're going to put some stuff in this display case, and yeah, so we're going to get to it, and we're going to start with like one of these totes and we're going to work our way through it. So let's get it done. Okay, let's see, that could maybe go like right up there in that hole. Yeah, that would look good up in there. You can just shove it all the way to the back because we're going to put more stuff in there. People will dig, that's the thing.
Space there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of space down there. This cabinet is beautiful. It's an old pie safe. It's got the holes in the side. It's actually been repurposed. There should have been metal here, but they put glass. I would put the other bottles, just stick them right up there in that hole, and we'll find places for the rest of this stuff. You've got a ton of stuff in here. Here's another little ceramic pitcher that can go up in here. It's down there on the bottom, or anywhere you can find a hole, honey. It's a honey hole. You can push them all the way to the back and we can put stuff in front of them. It was just pretty much me trying to fill it up as much as possible. We're gonna put some stuff in here and we'll be right back. As you can see, we got all three totes emptied and the booth is pretty full. We put in a lot of neat stuff. We kind of theme our booths out. This one is kind of like country antique. That one over there more is just a hodgepodge booth, but the third booth I want to show you is all DVD media type stuff. I think it looks better when you kind of have a theme in your booth, and for us, like, we owned an antique store, so this was pretty easy for us to just go bring all the antique store stuff here. And we actually own all of this stuff. It's ours. Pretty awesome. Just kidding. But the fact is, the booth space costs us about $100 a month, and so far this month we did about $1,200, which is really good. Some of the neater things that I have the taxidermied fawn. That's $350. I have the mannequin with the sailor outfit on it. He needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but he is $175. And then the rest of the stuff is just filler, fodder stuff that I always like to have the big ticket items in the booth, that if somebody comes in, it pays off really well. Then you have the little stuff like the little sign for $6.50, or the little corn stack cast iron pan for $6.50. Cheaper stuff. I still have some more room to bring some stuff in. I still have some space in that shelf. So it's not completely full yet. I like it to use the floor space as much as possible. I'm not a big fan of big booths like this unless you can fill it out and use as much of your floor space as possible, because you're typically going to use most of your wall space for your booth. And then if you have a big empty spot out here in the middle of the floor, you're paying for all that, and you're not getting any use out of it. So my goal was to make a walkway to where you can come in over here and look, and then turn and look over here, and I'm still utilizing all of this floor space for bigger ticket items and for other items. I mean, it looks pretty good. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know down below, and be sure to tell Francis hi. Okay, so this is my other booth. It's looking a little peaked, that shelf. I had brought a bunch of shot glasses in, and somebody like bought them all. Like, bought all of them except for the Jack Daniels ones that I have there. That's crazy. Remember all those shot glasses? They filled that whole shelf up and they're gone. I've got some toys and some books, some comic books. It's kind of discombobulated. This is a booth that really needs some work. I could do a lot better here. And some of this stuff is just gonna have to go, and it will whenever I start doing the auction in February. Whenever I do go to the auction in February, a lot of this stuff will go. So that'll be really nice to get this booth cleaned out and to get it straightened, because I think it could be a better producer. That booth is a good producer and the other booth is a good producer. And this one here is going to be more focused on household goods, stuff like that, because I'd like to maybe start buying some storage sheds, and you know, then you're going to get a big inflow of just regular goods that, you know, people can use every day, and that's kind of what I like to do here. This is our second booth that we have in the flea market, and it's kind of a hodgepodge booth right now. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. It's kind of in bad shape, but we need to bring more stuff in. This is kind of our throw stuff into this booth if it doesn't meet that booth criteria or the other booth criteria. And what's up, my man?
That's it, my man.
Did you bring us? Oh boy, you looks like you're about ready to run out of register paper. And
yeah,
this
it's
month,
all because of you.
Yeah, we did $1,200 this month so far, and I'll go over this list in a little bit, and we'll kind of talk about some of the items that sell. And thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And we will talk about some of the items that sell that we've sold, and yeah, so that'll be a neat part of the video. So stay tuned. See, this is kind of what I was talking about. This booth is right across from my booth, and this booth space is $100 a month, and it's very sporadic. There's not a lot of stuff in here. I'm not sure how they're going to make their booth rent. Some of their items on their stuff is kind of high, and you've got to work your booth. If you're not in here working your booth, constantly finding stuff to bring in, you're not going to make a ton of money. And this is a prime example of a booth that doesn't have a ton of stuff in it. I don't know what they make every month. They could be bringing stuff in. It just sells really well, and I'm not seeing it. But all of this floor space right here, that's all being paid for, and they're not utilizing it. So, and you notice the shelves are pretty bare, so that's a big no-no. Whenever you're doing an antique booth, you want to make sure that you have the right size booth. Like, you want to make sure that like all of this stuff could fit in one of these smaller booths like this, and they wouldn't be paying as much. Like this booth here is 60 bucks a month versus this one, which is 100. So they'd save 40 bucks a month by having a smaller booth. And yeah, so interesting. Yeah, that's what I think. If you have any opinions, let me know down below. I want to know what you guys think. This is an example of a booth that is almost too full. The aisles are pretty crowded, but they're utilizing their space. I would rather,
really packed.
yeah, the shelves are really packed, but I would rather have a booth that looks like this than have a booth that looks like that, because you're at least going to make your booth rent. Honestly, I think they could probably use a booth that big. They could probably switch. Well, that's an 8x10 and this is an 8x8. So yeah, like they could definitely use the 2 extra feet. I think that they would be way better off to have a booth that size than a booth this size, because I think this booth is about 80 bucks a month and that one's 100, because mine is 100. So booth rent is very cheap here. It's very affordable. Fantastic. The people that own these booths, they do really well. They have all of these booths through here, but yet again, I was in this booth at one time, and it's a 13x12, I believe. I can't see. Yeah, 13x12, and I just had trouble utilizing all of this floor space in here. I just couldn't do it, and it's the problem with these corner booths like this, is they get difficult to utilize the floor space. So I don't like corner booths that are big like this in an antique mall, and I would suggest that you stay away from them. One, they're pretty expensive. This one here is probably like 150 bucks a month, and the floor space isn't easy to utilize as one of these booths right here, which is, you know, 100 bucks a month. So I'm gonna get off here because they put some clothes in here, and I'm gonna check out those shirts. So I'll be right back. If I find anything, I'll let you know. This is our third booth here that we have, and it needs to be filled out a little bit more too. We do have some records in here, and they've been selling very good. I have a stack of records over here that are like really cheap. Some of these have been pulled out from over there and put over here, but I have some 25-cent records, and I have a bunch of DVDs, and then we have some more DVDs over here. We have CDs, And then we have a bunch of records, little 33s. Megan's already jumping in there and she's cleaning them up. We do really well with a booth like this. If you are looking to open up a flea market booth, definitely a media booth does exceptionally well, especially if you don't know antiques or collectibles. This is an easy way to get into the flea market selling movies. If you can tell, we come in here a couple times a week and there's already a ton of holes over here. Stuff's starting to lean. We're gonna have to order some more DVDs to get this nice end full. We do have some VCR tapes there in the bottom, but yeah, we've pretty much been super busy with getting these booths set up, because we had to get all of this stuff out of the store because we're going to be working on opening up a pop culture shop, and hopefully with that we will have a whole bunch more stuff to show you guys. So that's everything here. We will be going over our printed receipt, and we'll show you some of the cool stuff that we've sold, or tell you some of the cool stuff that we've sold, and maybe you'll get an idea of what would sell in your booth. Okay, so I got everything cleaned up, got the cheap records stacked over there, put the better records back over here, brought some DVDs that were stuck underneath there. They were hidden, and I put them over here, and got the CD straightened up. Need to find more CDs. That's the problem. One of the big problems with a booth like this is finding the material to go in here. You can buy a lot of DVDs off of eBay. They're normally like 100 for like $46, $47 shipped. But the CDs can be a little bit more difficult to locate. I buy them a lot at auctions, but whenever I get the store open, I am going to buy this media stuff. Like, somebody brings me CDs and I'll give them 50 cents a CD for like the good stuff, and the rest of the stuff I'll just be like, I don't want, because I only sell them for $2. It's a media that's a format that's kind of dying off. Same way with DVDs. I pay about 50 cents a piece for them, and if people want to sell them for that, they can, and if not, then, well, they can keep them. So we're gonna go on and move along, so we'll be right back. One of the other reasons why I love having a booth at the flea market is because we always come up and we look around, and sometimes you find stuff. She's over there looking for clothes for the kids, but I just found this pink Patagonia puffer vest. It is $8. It's an extra large, and I found one right here that sold for 63 bucks. So sometimes having a booth, you come up here, you look around, you find stuff, and you make money. So that's a big reason why I love having a booth here, and I've kept one here for so long. I always find stuff. I've probably tens of thousands of dollars of stuff that I bought from here over the years that I flipped and made money on eBay. So good score right there, $8. Gonna pick it up.